Well, good afternoon. How's it going? And welcome. Look who I've got. It's Mr. Martin Coots.
Hello, Mr. Jones. How are you first of all, and how is everybody out there doing?
Well, I'm doing great. So let us know, all you teachers that are joining us this afternoon, let us know in the comments, either on YouTube or on the StreamYard link. You can leave us a comment in either of those places. How you're doing and which schools are joining us so we can give you a shout out on the screen for this very special St. Andrew's Day live lesson, which is, of course, why we've got our resident Scotsman on board, ready to keep me on the straight and narrow and make sure that I'm telling the truth. So yeah, so welcome along. Now you will
That would
need.
assume I know the truth.
Oh well, just pretend. It's fine. So you will need the activity page today. So the short link for the activity page is scrolling along at the right at the bottom of the screen there, adobe.ly/Andrew25. I don't know if it's a bit disrespectful that I'm first name terms with saying Andrew, but there we go. Adobe.ly/Andrew25. So let's jump over and take a quick look at that activity page so that you can see what we're going to be doing today. Now, I'm going to be on the browser. I'm using just Chrome on my computer. So if you're on a laptop or a desktop PC or a Mac or a Chromebook, then you're going to be following along on my screen. But Martin down there has got his iPad. So we're also going to be seeing how we do these skills using the Adobe Express iPad app. So hopefully you're all sitting comfortably. You've logged into Adobe Express and you're ready to get started. Now, the only other thing you need, of course, is this, the activity page, which you can get to, as I said, by using that short link at the bottom of the screen, adobe.ly/Andrew25. Or if you're like Martin, you can use the camera app on your iPad and scan this QR code and it'll bring you along to here. Now, teachers, if we're going a bit too fast for you, even though we're going to be passing back and forth from the browser to the iPad, if we're still going a little bit too fast, then please feel free to pause this live stream and then resume it whenever it suits you. Also, make sure that you are registered for the session with the big register link that's there underneath Martin's window. Because at the end of the afternoon, our colleague Dom will be emailing you with certificates for everybody who's taken part. So do make sure that you are registered. Right. How are you doing there, Martin? Are you ready to go?
Yep, I'm set up. I've got my Adobe Express iPad app ready to go. I am on the adobe.ly Andrew25 page. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Let's get started, guys. So here I am. This is the activity page, and you can see right at the Adobe Express open on another tab. So I'm going to be going back and forth between the two tabs as we go through today's activities. Well, what are we doing first? Let's have a look. Well, we are going to be creating from scratch with an empty page. We are going to be creating a dramatic infographic about how St. Andrew became the patron saint of Scotland. Because he never visited Scotland, Martin.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No.
He's never been here, never seen it, never had a glass of wine brew in his life.
No, so it's very interesting to learn about, well, how then did he become the patron saint of Scotland? So we've got the facts around that. If you scroll down, here we go. We've got the facts around that written for you here. Now we're going to be copying and pasting this over to our infographic. If you find it difficult to copy and paste from a web page, which is especially tricky on an iPad, then maybe you'd find it easier to open the text on a PDF. And Martin will show us how to do that. You'll need to, on an iPad, probably need to long press and open it in the background. And otherwise it'll try opening it in an app that maybe you don't have.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, let's get started. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to build up this page because I'm sure you're all aware that the reason that St. Andrew is the patron saint of Scotland is that second fact there, that King Angus II saw a white X-shaped cross in the sky before a big battle against the Angles in the 800s. And he said it was St. Andrew's sign and that it helped him win. So he did win. So there we go. So let's recreate that. Let's recreate a battlefield in the 800s. It was a nice bright day, and let's get this big shining X-shaped cross, St. Andrew's cross, up in the sky. All right, let's go. So first thing I'm going to do on the Adobe Express homepage is I'm going to click on the card that says create a poster. Now that's usually right up at the top, but you can actually see that we've got the exciting 12 days of creativity challenges. The fun guided activities for you to play around with there. So to create a poster, we do need to scroll down just a little bit. And here we go. You'll see this nice big pink card that says create a poster. When we click on that, it's going to open up the Adobe Express all-in-one editor. And the first thing we need to think about is the sky. So let's get a nice, bright summer's day sky as our background to the page. Now in Express, we've got media, of course, on the left-hand side. But you've also got elements. Now, this might look different for you because Adobe are doing a little bit of testing at the moment to see whether people prefer having media and elements separate, like I've got, or maybe you've got the new version which says just add content. If you've got the add content button, then you'll just need to click on that and then choose elements. Okay, so I'm going to go to elements on the left-hand side. And up at the top, I'm going to go to backgrounds, okay? And these are all a huge library of backgrounds, all free for you to use. So let's have a look in here. Let's search for sky. I could search for maybe I could search for summer sky. I just want a nice kind of bright blue, nice blue sky. Maybe with just a few kind of friendly looking clouds, not the kind of clouds that look as if they're going to rain on me anytime soon, you know? Nice summer clouds. I quite like that, so I think I might go with that. Now I'm going to pass over to Martin, who's going to do all of that again. But just before I go, I am going to name my file because Express is saving everything you do all of the time, but it is going to save it under this crazy file name, untitled. So let's just click up here on the top left and let's name it St. Andrew Infographic 2025. Right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to pass over to Martin on the iPad. Let's get us set up with a poster, Martin, and let's find a nice summer sky background. Okay, Perfect. Here we go. We've got your iPad on screen.
Excellent. So the first thing, just as Meredith was saying, if you are unable to copy, you might want to just press and hold and have this ready open in the background. That's one that we have there. Then if we are in our Adobe Express app, we have our main page as it comes up. And as Meredith said, we are looking for that one that says create a poster. Now your iPad might be going the same speed as mine, which is okay. That means it gives you a wee bit of time to catch up. You might get these little pop-ups. So just follow whatever advice you have within the class in order to move things. And my iPad that is acting really slow today, but we're going to tap create a poster, as Meredith said. Exact same. You only notice there's only a couple of wee changes in terms of the size and where things are positioned, but everything is the same. You'll even notice that down the side, I have all of the same buttons as Meredith, including the one that says elements. So when I tap elements, I get the exact same options. Where I go to backgrounds, I have the exact same interface and I'm typing in same thing. I'm looking for some sky and I can tap enter on my keyboard. It will bring up all of these. And I have been looking at a few of these before, and I think I'm going to go for this one.
Oh, very
nice. That looks
nice.
Quite good. And as Meredith said, the first thing you do is you rename at the top. I forgot that, so I'm going to tap right at the top where it says Untitled 27 November. And I am going to just bring up my keyboard again. I'm going to press and hold on my delete key until everything goes. And I'm going to call it St. Andrew's Day Martin, and I'm going to tap enter on my keyboard, and that's us at the exact same stage as you, Meredith.
Brilliant. All right, let's move ahead then. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is let's get this amazing cross that appeared in the sky to King Angus. So Now, we could try and kind of find images that are going to do this for us, but I reckon this is where the AI built into Adobe Express is going to help us out quite a bit. So let's jump into the media button. So that's on the left-hand side. Okay, so we've been to elements. Hang on, my mouse pointer is doing some crazy things. We've been to elements there, and we're going to be using media, and we're also going to be using text today. So everything we're going to be doing today is in these three really important buttons on the left-hand side. Media, text, and elements. So we've been in elements. Let's jump up to media now then. And I would like a shining white diagonal cross. Okay? Now, if I go to the photo library, now the Adobe stock photo library has got millions and millions and millions of images. If I search for shining white diagonal cross in there, I am not going to get anything. Okay, because that is not a photo that exists in the Adobe stock library. So this is a perfect reason for us to use the AI image generation built into Express. So up here at the top, let's click on the gray button that says Generate Image. And I'm going to generate an image. So you can then decide even what shape you'd like this image to be. Well, seeing as my my piece of paper is kind of in this portrait orientation, I'm going to go with portrait. And let's just type in a prompt. So I'm just going to put in here shining diagonal cross white. There we go. I reckon that's enough for me. Shining diagonal cross white. I can't think of anything else I need. Let's just click on generate, the big blue button at the bottom of the screen. And Express is going to read my prompt, and then it is going to give me 4 options over here on the left-hand side. So let's see what my shining diagonal cross white looks like.
Good use of descriptive language as well.
Hey, none of those are diagonal, Martin.
No.
None of them. None of them. Right?
No.
Right. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it to maybe a shining X-shaped.
There we go.
X-shaped cross. Shining X-shaped cross. All right. Let's try this. I mean, I could have just turned that. You know, I could have rotated it. I could have got away with it. But let's try and get.
We could even try a plus symbol, and then we could twist it a wee bit, couldn't we?
Yes, of course. Yes, you could. That's very clever. Yes. Right. Okay. So, thank you, Express. Thank you very much. So, what I'm going to do with these very non-diagonal crosses is I'm going to make them diagonal. No big deal. No big deal. I can deal with this. So, which one do I want? I think I quite like this one.
That one looks quite good. Yeah.
So I'll choose that. Now then, I don't need the background. So let's get rid of the background. Now, in order to stop generating the image and actually edit the image, that's all I need to do is click on this X here where it says generate image. Click on the X. And now we're back on the normal image editing options. And you can see here, your first one will be to remove the background. So let's remove the background. And just have this cross. Okay, fine. And now I can, let's just spin it around. I'm going to use the rotate tool. And I just want to make this nice and big in the sky. There we go. I'm trying to hide the ends. You can see what I'm doing there. Just trying to kind of hide the squared off edge. That's fine. And now I want to make it look more magical. Okay, I want to make it more magical. So what I can do to make it look more magical is use the opacity. So down here, on the left-hand side, we've got the opacity button. And we can let's try screen. Okay, cool. That's made it kind of more see-through. I think it's still a bit too strong. I want it to look like, you know, is that a cross in the sky? At the moment, it very, very definitely is. So do is bring down the opacity a bit. Okay, let's bring down the opacity so it's more see-through. There we go. And a final idea, you could also blur it a little bit. Okay, so with the cross selected, we could go into the adjust button here. and just bring up the blur somewhat. There we go. And now we've got this kind of magical blurred cross in my summer Scottish sky. Right, let's jump over to the iPad. And Martin, let's get your magical St. Andrew's cross in the sky above
my
the
magical
battlefield.
cross. Right, so everyone, if you remember where Meredith was shown down the left-hand side, media. And you see we've got the exact same option. We've got the option to upload, we've got photos, or we can generate. So if I tap on where it says generate image and do the same thing, it's got portrait. It gives me a little box, and then the difference here is I'm going to use my fingers, or if you're using an iPad with a mouse, you can use your mouse to pull in the corners and have it appear larger on your screen. Now I'm going to put in my prompt. Now I'm going to word it just a wee bit different. I'm going to say shiny.
You're going to learn from my mistakes,
yes,
Martin.
I'm going to say shiny white plus symbol. Okay, I'm going to do that and see how that looks. See if that gives us a wee bit of a difference. And then I'm just tapping enter on my keyboard. It's going to give me my 4 options in the exact same way it gave Meredith on his poster. I'm going to get the ones and I'm going to see if I've got it a wee bit closer than what Meredith did with his. Just because, there we go. Mine are a wee bit different. Mine are a bit pill-shaped though, but I still think there might be a couple of options. So in fact, I quite like that one.
Yeah,
that one might be quite good. That could be quite a good. It's got a bit of a cloud feel to it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap the X next to the generate image, and I'm going to tap remove background. And it does this really quickly. It does this using AI in the background, and there we go. So now I'm going to increase my size a little bit. My rotate button is at the side where I'm going to move it. I'm going to bring it a little bit bigger so that we can see it, increase the size, just going to keep going, get it a wee bit. Mine might cover a bit more of the sky, but that's okay.
Looks very magical.
Yeah, it does. It's got that kind of good feel to it, so quite happy with that. This time I'm just going to go with opacity as well. I'm going to tap screen. There we go. I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit. That actually blends in really nicely with my background. And I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to do my blur as well. If I just move my finger up a little bit on here, blur, and let's see what we get with that. That's looking not too bad there, Meredith. Nice. I think that's working.
That's very cool indeed. All right. Okay, now then, let's get some medieval Scottish soldiers looking at this. So we're going to need to generate this again because we don't have any photos of that. So let's once again go to media on the left-hand side, and we're going to go straight away to photos and generate an image. Now, this time I'm going to go for landscape because I want them right at the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to go for landscape. And here we go. So I want a row of medieval Scottish soldiers. And I want them to be I want them to be looking at the sky. So I want to be standing behind them and we're all looking at this cross in the sky. So they need to be facing away from me. So let's say, and I'm the camera. Imagine that I'm the camera. So facing away from the camera. Now, you could even use the word silhouette here if you don't want it to be too detailed, if you want them to look in shadow. So let's go silhouette. All right. So I'll just leave that prompt up there for a second. I'll tell you what, let's fire it off and then let's look at it again. So generate that. So here's my prompt. A row of medieval Scottish soldiers facing away from the camera. That's important because I want them to be looking up at the cross. And I want it to be a silhouette. It doesn't matter too much if it's a silhouette or not because, ooh, oh gosh.
Ooh.
Right, well, they're very dramatic, but none of them are, I want them to be standing kind of Let's put full length in there. Full length so that I can see them kind of head to toe. Full length. There we go. Okay, maybe I got rid of the word silhouette. Maybe that's because silhouette also kind of means your side profile. So maybe that's confusing things. So I'm just going to have a row, medieval Scottish soldiers, full length, facing away from the camera. Right, and let's try it again. Okay, let's see what we get.
So it's important here to always tweak until you get what you're looking for, isn't it? That's the name of the game.
Because when I was testing this out earlier, here we go. These are amazing. Because when I was testing this out, I didn't use the word Scottish. I just put a row of medieval soldiers in, and the armor looked kind of I don't know, kind of looked like the Persians would have had,
okay,
you know?
right.
Now, they had kind of spikes on the helmets and things like that. And I was like, oh, it didn't look really kind of Scottish medieval, so that's why I put the word Scottish in there. Right, well, these are great, aren't they? So I can just pick one that I like. I think I'm going to go with one well, they're not facing
I like that
away.
one.
So
yeah.
this one is good. Yeah. These is good, but they're very organized there. Maybe this one's a bit more chaotic. So I'll go with this one. Right, click on that. Now, let's get rid of the background. Now, we know how to do this. We just did this with the cross. So let's X off this, and let's remove the background. Now, there we go, brilliant. Now, I'm just going to bring them down like this so that they're kind of looking at the sky, like that. Now, I'd like there to be more of them. Okay, now instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate it, but I do want them to be in silhouette. So let's just use a darken effect on this as well. Okay, so up on the top left, we've got edit, but then we've also got effects. So if I click on effects, you'll see that there's one here called darken under tones. There we go. And we can intensify how dark it is. If you go all the way, then it is an absolute silhouette. But I'm going to leave this about halfway. And now here's a trick for you guys. I'd like this to look as if I have more soldiers. So what I'm going to do is duplicate these soldiers, first of all, by going 3 dots and duplicate. So here we go. Here's my second set of soldiers. So to make these look different, let's take the darkness all the way on this. So I'm going to click on darken and take the intensity all the way to the top. And to make them look even more different to the others, let's flip them as well. Let's flip them horizontally. So we can flip our images by going to edit. And at the bottom, we've got position. So I can flip. Nice. Now they look like a different set of soldiers. And finally, what I'm going to do is just change the size. Okay, just make them smaller.
Why might we do that, Mr. Jones? What would be the significance of...
Yeah, so I think they're a row further away. They are in front of these other guys. So because of perspective, of course, they're going to appear smaller. So to get them in, as if they are behind these other soldiers, we then need to use our layer stack here and reorganize. I'm going to put the darkest set of soldiers behind the lighter set of soldiers. And there we go. Look, it looks as if I've got a crowd of soldiers. And you wouldn't really be able to tell that that's the same image twice. Okay, little kind of hack for you there. Right, okay, Martin, let's get some medieval Scottish soldiers looking at this incredible cross that's appeared in the sky.
Nice. So, same thing. I'm still on media. I'm going to generate an image, and I'm going to use the exact same prompt. I'm going to tap on landscape, as Meredith said, make it a little bit bigger. We can adjust the size later, but it's just a nice habit to get into. And we're going to say a row of Scottish medieval soldiers facing away from the camera. Let's tap enter and see what we get. See if we get, it'd be quite interesting if we got similar images to what Meredith did, but let's see if we get different ones or if we have to tweak. I think because we saw that Meredith had to tweak a couple of times, makes it a bit easier for us to see which ones. We're always the iPad guys. We might be coming up the rear, but we're always getting there in time. And there we go. Okay, so let's see. Let's full length because we're just getting facing. Let's see. Will we do something like this, and we'll say rear view. Just add that in. Hopefully that doesn't give us a shot of their rears, but it might give us a shot of looking at them from the rear and see what that does. But you see what happens here, folks, is we always have to tweak. And that's what's good and bad about AI, is that you can get images you're looking for, but not always on the first try. But on the second try, I have got some cracking looks. So I quite like this one at the bottom here, because I think that matches up with what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So I'm going to tap the X in the corner, same as we did before, and tap remove background. And it's going to remove my background and give me these 5 soldiers that I can make a little bit bigger and position them. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to effects. I'm going to go to darken, tap on my settings and take it up just a little bit. There we go. Tap on my 3 dots. Tap on duplicate. There we go. Move this up because I'm going to still be on darken, take it to 100%. So now I need to position it all on my iPad so the layers are still on the right hand side. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make these soldiers a little bit bigger, bring them down to the bottom. I'm going to make these soldiers just a little bit smaller, also bring them down. But I forgot to do one thing, and that was flip them. So remember, under edit, you go to position and flip H, and then that flips them round, and I can start to position them, maybe make it a little bit bigger so it doesn't look like they're miles away. And then one last thing I have to do is I have to take them, press and hold on my layer, drag it down, and there we go. So we've got my soldiers at the front, my soldiers just a little bit further away, and the lighting making that huge difference. Nice. Edited, over to you.
Very nice. Yes, very cool. So, all right. Now then, let's get a title on here. So let's open up the doc. Okay. So obviously I've got this on the page, and the title is going to be St. Andrew's Saltire in the Sky. So the saltire, of course, is the name for a diagonal cross. So St. Andrew's Saltire in the Sky. Now, if you want to see this on a PDF, then you can click on the button, open the text on a PDF. And you've already shown that on the iPad, Martin, have you?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, yes.
There we go. Great. So I'm going to copy from here. Now, copying on this PDF is actually easier because if I highlight the text I want, rather than having to use, Control-C or Control-V, as you're used to, maybe some of you aren't familiar with how to copy text. So you can actually, on the PDF, just highlight it, drag over it, click and drag to choose it, select it, and then see this little button here, it says copy text. So you can just click on that. Otherwise, of course, you can use Control-C to make a copy. Right, so let's pop this into a text box. So I'm going to go to the third important button on the left-hand side. We've used elements, we've used media, so let's use text. And let's click add your text. And let's paste that in. So again, you could use the keyboard shortcut here, Control-V. V is next to C, C for copy, and then V just because it's next to C. But you could also, if you don't want to use keyboard shortcuts, you can use the 3 dots here and paste. There we go, St. Andrew's Saltire in the Sky. Now, let's find a suitable font. Now, Express is always scanning your project, scanning your file, and it's going to think of kind of cool fonts that are going to work with your design. I tell you what, this second one here is looking nice. I like this. So I'm going to go with that. And you can click on View All to see even more options if you want. But I'm going to go with this one. I think it's very nice. Utopia Standard. All right. Now, nice. I think I'm going to go with a dynamic text layout. Okay, so you can see down here we've got text layouts. Let's click on dynamic. Great. And there you can see now what dynamic text layouts do is that as you change the shape of the box, it'll push your text onto more or fewer lines. So if it's kind of like that, like a very long rectangle, then it's going to all go on one line. But if you make it more of a boxy rectangle, it's going to push to 2 lines, 3 lines. And what that'll do is it'll kind of emphasize different words. Okay? Now, I don't want saint to be that huge. That's a bit crazy. So I think I'll go with 2 lines. I think that works nicely to just kind of emphasize St. Andrew's name. Now, I'm going to put this at the bottom here in front of my soldiers. So black text is definitely not going to work. Now, I could change it just over to white by going to text color here. Okay, so let's try that and just bring that down. So that works quite nicely. But why not why not use our last bit of AI this afternoon and use AI to generate a magical kind of glowing effect on this text. So with the text selected, I'm going to go to effects up on the top left and generate text effects. And I'm going to click in there. Now, that one isn't too bad, is it? That kind of diamond one.
That's quite cool. Nice, yeah.
So you can go with one of those presets, or you can just type your own in. So I can go in here, glowing white light. There we go. And I'm going to make it loose so that it kind of gets to be bigger than the shape of the letters are originally. And just
that's a great effect for like grass and flowers, and when it's loose, it really makes it come to life.
So let's see. It's going to give me 4 brand new fonts. It's going to create 4 new font textures. Oh, wow. Look at these. Ooh. I think this one is my favorite.
Yes.
They are all very cool, but I think that one is my favorite. And you can see there now that I've got this super cool kind of glowing white text effect on my title. Right, okay, let's jump over to Martin, who's going to get a title in and get a text effect on it.
Get a text effect, okay. Now, the only thing that's different with an iPad in this bit is how you get back to the app. There is the easy way where you can click your home button and you can swipe up. But if I just swipe up from the bottom and get my dock, I can just tap on Safari and it will take me to my PDF. And remember I said if you press and hold, it'll open up. Now on an iPad, to copy the text, it's reloading here. Here we go. Let's just do it from here actually. This is all running really slow today.
Your internet's having a little moment, is it?
I think so. And yet my internet's really fast. It's weird. Okay, let's just continue on the web. That's better. So on an iPad, I can just press and hold to get my text box up in the exact same way. And look, because we've opened it as a PDF, it does the exact same as it did on the desktop, where I can just copy text. That's now on my clipboard. And if I click on my home button and go back into Adobe, it might take a wee, depending on the type of iPad you do, it might get a wee bit tired and start to crash things. But that's okay, because if you were listening to Meredith at the start, it was saying that Adobe automatically saves the work you've been doing. So don't worry if you've come back out and you come back in and your iPad looks like this, because down the bottom, you will have recent and it will reload your last work that you did. So the iPad can sometimes get a bit overwhelmed, but that's okay, because look, everything has been saved. So it's going to load up everything that I had, but I'm going to add in my text button, and I'm going to tap add my text. It's going to add in my text box, and it opens my keyboard, which can sometimes take up a lot of room. So I'm just going to minimize my keyboard, tap my 3 dots and tap paste, and you'll get this allow or don't allow. I'm going to tap allow because it's been copied from there, and it should, if everything has gone to plan, I may just have to type it in. It's thinking. Come on. The internet does seem to be having a moment today.
Oh yeah, sometimes you need to
there we go.
That little paste pop up above the word paste.
It's sometimes the iPad can do things that makes you go a bit, yeah. So let's, with my text box selected, I'm going to choose some of the fonts that are there. So we have ones that stand out. I quite like this one. And I think what I'm also going to do is I'm going to have a look at some of these. I'm going to stick with this. Okay, I could go with dynamic, but I'm going to stick with this. And then I could take it down Again, you can't really see it, so let's change it to white. That still makes it okay. And we'll go to our text effects. So if you need to, you can change a few of the text layouts that we have here. So I could tap on text layout, go to dynamic, increase my size, but I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to tap on effects, and I'm going to tap on my little edit button, and I'm going to choose my text effect, which is going to say shiny white light, same as Meredith. Tap enter on my keyboard. Let's see what we've got. Let's tap loose as well. Enter on my keyboard, and it's going to think about it. If you're ever in doubt, look above my S at the end. You see the wee spinny dot? That means it's working. It's doing its thinking. It's doing its thing in the background. So let's have a look. We can see our 4 effects here. And it's given me very similar to you. Very similar to you. In fact, I think I might choose the exact same one as you. In fact, no. No. I'm going with this one.
Oh, yeah. Very sparkly.
Right.
Like
very
that.
sparkly.
Yeah,
so,
nice.
The only difference with the iPad, Meredith, is sometimes it gets a wee bit tired and has to take everything off and go back on again. But the best thing about Adobe Express is it's already saved my work. Let's see what we're going to do next.
Yeah, no dramas. If things aren't behaving, just restart it. No drama. Everything's safe. Right. Okay. So let's get some facts in now. Then it's time. Time for us to get some facts in, and this is gonna speed up quite a bit now, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and forth from our doc, or you can obviously grab them from the web page as well, from the activity page. So the first fact about St. Andrew was that St. Andrew was one of Jesus's 12 apostles. In the year 345, so quite a long time before Angus's battle, a monk called Saint Rule brought some of St. Andrew's, not St. Rule's, he obviously brought his own bones because they were inside him at the time, but St. Rule brought some of St. Andrew's bones from Greece, which is where they were, to the town that became what is now called St. Andrews. So there we go. So that's the first kind of connection between Scotland and St. Andrew, was the fact that in 345, St. Rule, a monk, brought some of St. Andrew's bones over from Greece. Right, so let's grab that, copy the text, back over to Express, and I'm going to paste this into a new text box. So to get a new text box, I just go to T for text on the left-hand side, add your text. Now it's going to give me a text box using the same font as I just had earlier. Now I like this font, but maybe it's going to be a bit too it's a bit too strong, isn't it, for this? So again, I'm going to just maybe scroll through some of these recommended fonts and see, right, does it recommend something a little bit lighter? That first one's quite a nice one. It's a bit lighter. Adobe Caslon Pro. Yeah, there we go. Right, so I like that. Let's go back out of the recommended fonts, and let's maybe center align this. So I'm going to choose center align by clicking on the alignment button. Great. And let's just bring that down in size like that. Lovely. Now I've got 4 facts, so I kind of need to think about, right, maybe one will go here, and then 1 will go there, 2 will go there, 3, yeah, so maybe I need it to be a little bit smaller. So just start thinking about how much space you need. Now, in order to help that to stand off my background, I'm going to put an outline on the text, a nice white outline on my black text. So to add an outline, we just go to where our text color is, and the next box over here is the outline color. So I'm going to change that to white, and I'm going to bring the outline thickness, I reckon, all the way up. Yeah, all the way up to the top. Right, now that's looking great. That's nice and clear. I'm really happy with that text box. Now, I spent a long time formatting that, so I don't want to waste all that good work that I did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to go to 3 dots, duplicate, and then I'll do the same again. 3 dots, duplicate. And you're thinking, well, why does this guy want 4 copies of the same piece of text? But what I'm going to do then is just switch out the text in each one of these boxes. But first of all, before I do that, I'm starting to think about, where I want to situate them. And I think like that, that's really nicely spaced out. Now I got a nice gap between them all. So you can be chaotic if you want. There's nothing wrong with kind of chaotic text either. If you want to be a bit more chaotic, something like this, that's fine. But, be intentional about it. Have a think about where you want your text to sit. I quite like this left, right kind of feel that I've got here. So now then, what I'm going to do whilst we pass over to Martin, you don't need to watch me doing this, is I need to swap the text. So because at the moment I got four copies of the exact same fact. So what I'm going to do is I'll do one and then I'll pass over to Martin while I do the other two. I'm going to go back and forth to the doc. So here's my next fact. King Angus II saw a white X-shaped cross in the sky before a big battle against the Angles in the 800s. He said it was St. Andrew's sign and that it helped him win. Let's copy that. Okay, back on Express, I'm going to go and swap this text in the second box for that new fact. So I'm going to just click in, highlight this text, and then I'm going to go into the three dots and paste. And it's kept the font, it's kept the outline, it's kept the font size. It's just swapped out the text. So I need to do that twice more for my last two facts, but you don't need to watch me do that. Let's jump over to the iPad and see how Martin's getting on.
Okay, so you guys remember how we get things in the iPad. We bring things open. Now what I've done is, just so my iPad is not going to, I've got my text copied here and ready to go. So Andrew was, let's press and hold, highlight, and we've got our copy menu that comes up. Same as on Safari we did before. We tap add our text. And then one thing you could do is on your keyboard, you notice you've got cut, copy, and paste. Well, we could cut, copy, and paste with our text without having to go on to the menu. So we can make things a bit quicker for ourselves. Those three buttons at the top of the iPad can make things really quick and easy for us. Because if I add my text, whoops, tapping away. If I tap add my text and then just tap this third button at the top, just above the W, so it will paste.
That's the black clipboard icon.
Black clipboard icon, yeah. It just makes it a little bit quicker. Now, it's done the same thing. It's given me my text. It's given me my size. I can move it. I could have something. I'm going to stick with this one that says high visibility. I'm going to tap on my dots and reduce down my size. Let's just zoom in so that you can see this clearly on my screen. Let's put that there. That's sounding fine. I can center. So just next to the U underlined, let's tap on that and it will center it. We could make it bold to make it stand out a little bit more. Okay. Or we could tap this drop down menu and we could say, I could choose bold italic, but I'm just going to stick with this one. And I am going to choose my outline, which is going to be white, or I could make it a light blue. I can make it as thick as I want and have it stand out. So there's my text copied and pasted and my text box. Now the exact same as Meredith had done on the desktop was we're going to duplicate. Now to do that now, we just tap our three dots and then duplicate. There's one there. And I'm going to tap my three dots again and duplicate. I could put it there. I'm going to bring these up just a wee bit so that I'm happy with it. And then one last one, tap my three dots and duplicate. And there I've got my four text boxes. And now on the iPad, I can do the exact same thing as Meredith has been doing on the browser, which is going back to my original text, which you can find in Safari, or if you've downloaded or if you've copied, wherever you're finding that text, then you can just press and hold or double tap to highlight. And then remember what I'd said before, you could tap the two pages icons next to the scissors on your keyboard. Then when you go back to Adobe and you tap anywhere in here, you can highlight all your text, which is sometimes easier on an iPad, is just to double tap and then tap paste. You'll get my pop-up menu again, and it keeps my text, my font, my size, and my formatting. Meredith, how did you get on with your copying and pasting?
Yeah, great. So Here we go. Here it is. I'm done. I'm done. Now, we're just about ready to move on to the second activity. But you could, just as another idea, start adding in some more generated images for each one of these facts. Okay? And we'll take a look at that in the second activity. But do you know what? As an infographic, I think that's very cool and I really like it. So I'm going to leave that as it is. But we are actually now going to learn how you can start something off as just an infographic, as we've done here. But actually, you can use that as a launch pad for a video project. So in order to turn this from a graphic into a video project, it's really easy and we don't need to go anywhere. We can just do it right here in Express on the editor. Now, I'd like to keep a copy of this printable version because I don't want to wreck it by turning it into a video. So let's keep this as it is. So in order to kind of have another copy of this to start messing around with to turn into a video, we are going to duplicate the page. Okay, so to duplicate a page, that's all we need to do. Down on the bottom, you can see here you've got 3 dots. Bottom right, page actions. And there you've got this option that says duplicate. So let's click on that. And there we go. Right, now I've got, as you can see at the bottom of my screen, I've got page 1, which I'm going to leave alone because this is my printable poster. And now I've got page 2, which is going to turn into a video. Right, now to turn this into a video, we need to click on the 3 dots above the page and choose Edit Timeline. And there it is. You can see we've now got a video timeline. Now, it doesn't look much like a video, does it? Because it's kind of in an A4 paper shape. So before we start working hard on turning this into a video, let's change the actual shape of our canvas from this kind of A4 paper shape to something we'd recognize as a video. So you could obviously go widescreen, which is what you're all seeing us on now, you know, this kind of widescreen landscape orientation, or you could go vertical for people that view things on their phones. So let's go to resize at the top. Resize. We're going to resize this page. And you'll see that one of the options, if I scroll down, is video. And your options are a normal video or a mobile video. Now, we do a lot of normal videos here on our live lessons. So let's learn about vertical videos for a change. So I'm going to choose mobile video. Now, at the bottom, you'll see a little tick box that says expand image. Okay, I'm going to turn that off because what that does is it uses AI to kind of add bits on to fill in your page. Now, I don't need to do that because I'm going to be messing around with everything anyway, and it can take a bit of time as well. So I'm going to switch that off and just resize it without expanding the image. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so I've got, you can see that that's now in the kind of format, and I'm going to choose keep, that's fine. There we go. You can see that it's changed things around here. And I'm going to need to, I'll start tweaking that in a bit. But I think we need to go over to the iPad because I did a few things there that were a little bit complicated. So the first thing I did was duplicate the page. And then I chose to edit the timeline on that page so that I could see the video timeline at the bottom of the screen. And then the last thing I've done is resize it for a video. So let's see how we do that over on the iPad.
Thanks, Meredith. Okay, everybody, you'll see that down the bottom, it's in the exact same place. We have page actions. If I tap my 3 dots, I can then duplicate. That's going to create a second copy, and I can see I have page 1 and page 2. Now on page 2, I have my 3 dots again. If I tap on my 3 dots, that's then going to bring up my option to edit timeline. There we go. I can see it's got my it's got my record screen up for some reason, but you can hopefully see that there. Why is that sitting up? From that a second, go back to it. Okay, So it's sitting behind. I don't know why I've got that popping up. Apologies, but I can see I've got my edit timeline is ready to go. Now in the top, just next to the little paint icon, I've got my resize. And I can change this for different options. I can change it to video. Now on an iPad, the menus are just hidden a little bit. So it means I have to maybe go down to find it. And I'm also going to choose mobile video. I'm going to uncheck expand image and I'm going to tap resize. So now that should give me a few variations. I think I am going to go with the second one just because it moves everything down a wee bit where I want it. And I'm going to tap keep. So am I
Nice.
satisfied? Just tap away. But we're just at the exact same bit as you now, Meredith.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, right. So now I've got 4 interesting facts about why St. Andrew is the patron saint of Scotland. So I want to talk about all 4 of them. But I also am going to need a title slide. So I'm thinking I need 5 scenes in my video. I need a title slide, and then I need 1 for each fact. Okay? So at the moment, in your timeline, you've just got 1 scene, which is 5 seconds long. Okay, you can see it tells you at the bottom there your total length of your video. So it's 5 seconds long. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this scene so that I've got 5 of them. Okay, so I've already got 1, so I'm going to go 3 dots on my timeline, on the timeline clip, 3 dots, duplicate. Okay, so there's my second one. Now you can zoom out as well using this zoom toggle because I'm going to run out of space with 5 of these. So I'm going to make it a bit smaller. And then 3 dots, duplicate. So I've got 1, 2, 3. And now 3 dots, duplicate. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 dots, duplicate. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these scenes. And if you know your 5 times table, guys, that is going to give us 25 seconds of video. 5 times 5 seconds. All right, so why did I do that? Well, what I can do now is I can fiddle around with those without having to kind of make stuff from scratch. Okay, we're recycling all the hard work we did in the first activity. Now then, who's this?
I noticed. I was just about to say we've got the head teacher coming in to check how our class is going, Mr.
Yes,
Jones.
he's observing our lesson.
He's observing our lesson today.
So that's Dom, that is, who apparently was too busy to come along to today's live lesson. But he's not too busy to make comments on YouTube, though, so that's fine.
Now we know what he's doing.
All right, so I've got my 5 scenes. So let's take my playhead. That's this black line that shows us where we are right now. Okay, what we're seeing right now here on the canvas in time. So let's take that back to the beginning, the first scene. Now on my first scene, I don't need any of my facts. So let's just delete all of these text boxes. And I don't need to be stressed about, oh gosh, do I want to delete them or not? Because I've got them on my other copies of the scene. All right. So I've got, those have gone. I think I'm going to keep my white cross and blue sky all of the time. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But everything else is going to change. Right. So let's get my text now, my amazing kind of, my text that I got that effect on. And let's just maybe see. There we go. And you can even force things. Maybe I could push sky down a line. Oh my goodness me.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There we go. Maybe something like that. St. Andrews, salt dyer in the sky. Now that's looking great. Now it's a little bit difficult to read because remember we put this white text in front of the black or the dark outline of the soldiers. So to help this to stand off, maybe I'm going to go just to my normal text effects and I could put a black outline or maybe a Scottish blue outline perhaps. Let's add an outline to this. Now I know Matt is going to shout at me for using the wrong shade of blue here.
It's okay.
So, you know, you can see that doing that helps it to stand off straight away. You could go to black. Black's a bit too strong for me, I think. But I think these kind of shades of blue here, like this dark blue, that works really nicely. So I'm going to stick with that. And then finally, I'm going to just maybe tweak my soldiers. Maybe they need to come down a bit, you know. when it was resizing the page, it's changed some stuff around. Maybe the soldiers can actually be bigger in this. Maybe they can be much bigger in this scene. Yeah, I think that works. So let's just grab these darker ones.
And I noticed you can do a wee cheat, can't you? If you make the ones that are closest to you bigger first, remember you've got all of your options in the layers at the side that you can tap on each of them. So you don't need to worry always about moving and twisting to get things. You've got your layers at the side that can help you tap something quickly.
Yeah, if you want to choose the one that's behind, you can just click on the layer there to select, as Martin says. Yeah, great tip there. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's my first scene set up. Now then, let's go over to Martin, because Martin needs to get his scenes duplicated and then basically just sort out his kind of title scene. Okay,
yeah.
So that's me off, and that's the iPad
okay.
on.
Great. Welcome back to the iPad, everyone. Now, this is going to be the exact same. We're going to do what Meredith did. So first thing is we are going to tap on our first scene, and we're going to tap the three dots and duplicate. Now, you remember he did a slider so he had more room because he was running out. That is really needed on an iPad. So I'm just going to do my slider, take it all the way down as far as I can. Now I'm going to maybe take it down to around 30%-ish. That'll do. Then I'm going to duplicate. 1, 2, 3. Duplicate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Duplicate one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So maybe just a wee bit smaller. There we go. That works. Okay, so I've got my 5 slides now, and you can see I've got my 5 slides because I've got my 25 seconds. So I'm going to drag my playhead all the way to the start, or I'm just going to tap on my first scene. I have all of my text still on this page, so I'm going to tap once, tap the bin, tap once, tap the bin, tap once, and it's tap, delete, repeat. And let's take my dynamic text, make it a bit bigger, and I think mine looks quite good like that. I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap on next to where it says generate. I am going to tap on edit. I'm going to choose an outline. But this time what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my little color picking tool, and I'm going to pick something that is a wee bit closer to the blue on my background.
Oh, nice.
I can then go to custom, and I can make that just a little bit darker so that it matches in. And then when I go to my line and I change my thickness, it's going to appear just a little bit more, blending in with the background just a little bit. And then I'll start to adjust and do all of my other parts. Maybe don't want to be have Saint too big there. So as Meredith did the same thing, he deleted a bit of text in between. So let's do this one. And let's see what that does as we start to adjust. That doesn't look too bad. So we're just tweaking with where we want to find things. We might want to find them just sitting a wee bit closer, or have them just appear. Let's see, it's going to take a wee bit. It's been a while. The sky, but maybe put it back to there, tap enter. There we go. That's better. And make it a bit larger. I'm happy with the placement of my soldiers. I might make them a bit bigger just to add in that similar effect. And on an iPad, this is where being able just to tap those layers just makes it a huge difference, because it allows me then to adjust and have it sitting. So I think I'm maybe caught up with you now, Meredith. I think you're probably going on to the next bit, but I think I'm just about the same bit.
Brilliant. All right. Okay. So next. So that's the first scene kind of set up, ready to go. Okay. So let's just take our black playhead, that's this black line, and just come over to the next scene. So here we go. So we're ready for our first fact. Now then, once we're on the fact, I'm going to get rid of my title, St. Andrew's Saltire in the Sky. So I'm going to delete that. I don't need my soldiers either, so we can get rid of those. And now look at all this space we've got. This lovely space we've got. Now, I could have actually done that and then duplicated those other 3 scenes to save myself some deleting work, but, it's not the end of the world. So what I'm going to do now is delete every text box except one. So I'm going to obviously start with the first scene, the first fact, which is here. So I'm going to delete all of these other ones. There we go. And now I can just bring this text down. And I'm definitely going to bring the size up. Definitely bring the size up. There we go. Nice and big. Like that. Okay. Now, I'm going... So what size is that? Look, I'm on... My font size is 59. Tell you what, let's make it 60. Right. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go and sort my text out for each one of the scenes. I'll do one more, then I'll pass over to Martin so that you can see Martin doing it as well. Okay, so I'm going to just go to my next scene. And I get rid of the title, get rid of these soldiers. And now I'm going to get rid of 3 facts and keep a different one. Here it is, this one here. And then, do you remember my font size I chose? Now, you don't need to do it at font size 60. It just worked nicely for me. And that then is going to sit nicely like that. Great. Now, do you see it's got a different text outline on it? So I'll just go maybe and see what's going on with my outline thickness. This one's all the way at 100. What's happening with this one? There we go. Just make sure that that's always on 100. So what I'm going to do, you can see I've got my text there for the first scene. I've got my text here for the second scene. I'm going to go over now to my next 2 scenes. And I'm going to get rid of the stuff I don't need, keep the one piece of text I want, and make it a nice big strong font size. And I'm keeping the top empty because I'm definitely going to fill that with some cool stuff in a bit. Right, let's jump over to Martin to see how you're getting on.
Perfect. Okay, everybody, let's do this on the iPad. We're going to repeat, delete, repeat. Okay, so let's go to scene number 1. We've got our 4 text boxes, our soldiers and St. Andrews. So we're just going to tap on everything that we do not need. We are going to tap and just tap the delete, take it all out. There we go. And that's us down to 1 text box. Tap on my text box to select it. Remember, you can select it from the layers on the side as well, if that's easier. I can, down at the side, I have my font size where I can choose 60. Then I can just tap enter on my keyboard. Now, on an iPad, that might appear a bit big, but I am going to stick with that. I'm going to adjust my box, and I like having my boxes right at the edge. And then we haven't really discussed it, but these purple lines, they let you know when you're at the top of the page and when you're lined up with the bottom of the page. So for me, those lines are always a good idea to let me know I've got things lined up. Now, I could double check my line thickness. So I could take my line thickness all the way up, but I think 60 is quite good. Now, you could be really good and adjust, or you can just type in where the numbers are and do it that way. So there's box number 1. So let's go on to page number 3 and repeat again. So remember, we're going to repeat, delete, repeat. So I'm going to choose box number 1. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to choose box number 3, box number 4, St. Andrew's Day, my soldiers, and we are good to go. Now, this time I'm just going to choose my text from the layer, because sometimes on an iPad you can tap it and bring up the editor, but I'm going to tap on my font size, type in 60, tap enter, tap on my line thickness, change that to 60 because you can see it was different on this one as well, tap enter, adjust my sizes so that everything is going to match, use my purple lines to let me know everything is in the right place. And I sometimes take things just so they're at the edge. That's looking good. Line it up. And now when we go from page number 2 to page number 3, you can see that they are pretty much identical and in the same space. Meredith, how did you get on with yours? Did you get yours all done?
Yeah, so sorted. Right, now then, guys. So what we need now on here is your voice. Okay, so we need your voice, or maybe even your face, or even an animated character speaking with your voice. So, the easiest way to get your voice onto a project in Express is with a voiceover. So on my first scene, my very first scene, I'm going to bring my playhead back to the start, all the way back to the start, because I want my first voiceover to start right at the beginning of the video. I'm just going to say St. Andrews, Saltire in the sky. Okay, so to record my voice, that's all I need to do is go to media on the left hand side. We've used this button before. We used it to search for photos and to generate our images. But up at the top, we're going to go not to photos this time, all the way over to audio. Okay, we're going to go to audio, and we are going to record a voiceover. So let's click on record voiceover. Now, now mine's doing crazy stuff. It's trying to use my phone as a microphone, which is just wild behavior. So let's just, you've probably only got maybe one microphone on your device, so you don't need to worry about choosing a microphone, okay? But, and now this button is super important for you, enhance speech. Now, if you switch that on, you can all record at the same time, okay? You can all be making noise at the same time, and it'll work out whose voice is closest to the device, and it'll get rid of all the background noise. It's amazing. Oh, I think Martin's lost his internet connection. Let's see when he comes back. So let's click start recording and start recording my voiceover. Here we go. St. Andrews, Saltire in the sky. And then finish recording. Okay, so you can see there's my audio clip down there. Now, if your audio clip was longer, if your recording is longer than your first scene, you could make your first scene longer by just grabbing the corner and pushing it along. Well, mine was actually a little bit shorter than my 5 seconds, so let's just make it a bit shorter so that it kind of, my scene matches the voiceover. The voiceover is definitely kind of the boss here, deciding how long things should be. All right, so let's listen to that back. St. Andrews, Saltire in the sky. Brilliant. All right. So for the next one, maybe I'd like to have a video. Now, you could read all of this out, or you could just simplify it. Okay, I'm going to simplify it. I'm just going to say, St. Andrew never came to Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345. So I'm going to just, you can make it as simple as you want. You don't have to read all of the text on the screen. That's the thing about videos, is that you can have more text on the screen for the people who want to read more, and the voiceover can be a kind of simplified version of that. Right, but I'm not going to record a voiceover. I'm going to actually film myself. Okay, so I'm going to go to videos this time at the top. And I'm going to click record yourself. Now, I could use that script that's there, okay? But I'm not going to. Now, it's trying to use my phone again as a microphone, so we're not going to do that. Now, you're not having that problem, so that's absolutely fine. Right, so again, I'm going to start recording. Make sure that you're not chopping the top of your head off, or that you're not too close to the camera or anything like that. Have a look. Am I being framed nicely in the camera? Am I kind of center? Am I looking at the camera? Okay, here we go. I'm going to start recording. Off we go. Counts me down. St. Andrew never visited Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345. There we go. So that's that done. So you can try it as many times as you want. You could reset, but I was happy with that, so I'm going to click Save Recording. And it's going to pop that video right there onto my scene. Okay. Now, how long is that going to be? It's already, look, it's extended the scene. It's extended the scene to last. No, it's not extended enough though. I need to extend it so that I don't run out of video. So let's click on the video. For days. Let's click on my video there. There we go. Right, there we go. I think maybe it did extend it for the right period of time. So let's just, you can see I just need all of that video clip like that. Okay, let's watch that back. St. Andrew never visited Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345. Now, the audio isn't as good, is it? It's not as good as my intro. Let's listen to my intro.
St. Andrews.
Oh, that's way better. That's because when you record yourself using the record yourself video, you actually need to click on the video clip and you need to do the enhanced speech afterwards. Okay, just click on enhanced speech afterwards and it's going to have a little think about that now. Okay. I just had an email from Martin saying his system just crashed. He's trying to reboot. Well, the race is on, Martin, whether you get in the next 5 minutes before the end of the lesson. All right, so now that I've done that, the enhanced speech, let's listen to it now.
St. Andrew never visited
There
Scotland.
it goes, way better. Okay, so when you record yourself using the record yourself video feature, make sure that after you've done it, click on it and click enhance speech over on the left hand side. Now, you could leave it in this box. You could even click remove background, but I think I'm going to just crop myself into a circle. I'm going to put myself in a circle. So to crop to a circle, just choose your video file. And then you'll see this little pop-up menu. Sometimes it's at the top, sometimes it's at the bottom, but it's got this crop icon. So I'm going to give that a click, like that. And I'm going to crop it to a circle. There we go. Now, maybe I need to just move that over a bit because I think maybe I was sitting a bit off-center. And there we go. Now, I really like videos cropped to a circle. I think they look super cool. So what I'm going to do is just kind of pop that up there, you know, kind of in the middle of that cross in the sky, in that nice gap that we've got there at the top. Right, let's have a look at our video from the beginning then.
St. Andrews, saltire in the sky. St. Andrew never visited Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345.
Brilliant. Martin, welcome back. You're
Fun and games.
Yeah.
And games. My entire system just decided to go, no.
No worries. Well, I'm glad you made it back. We got like 3 minutes left, so maybe we'll stick on my screen for the last 3 minutes.
Okay.
Unless you want to get yours up, and we'll see what you got at the end.
It should
Yeah.
hopefully still be up. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Right. Let's do that again, then, guys. Let's do that same skill again. Okay. So this fact, of course, is that King Angus II saw the cross in the sky before a big battle against the Angles. Okay, so let's just bring my playhead back to the beginning of the scene. And I'm going to go into media. I'm already there. Look, media, videos, and record yourself. And here we go. It's going to try and use my phone as a microphone again for some absolutely bizarre reason. Oh, no, it hasn't. Brilliant. It's learning. Right, okay, so let's record, okay? And remember, keep your voiceovers and your video recordings really simple. You do not need to read or memorize that entire piece of information, okay? Here we go. Counts me down. King Angus II saw the cross in the sky before a big battle against the Angles and thought it was going to bring him some luck. There we go. That was fine. So if you weren't happy with that, you can reset, start again. So I'm going to save the recording. There we go. You can see Express again has extended my scene to fit this new video, which is quite neat. I don't think it always used to do that. Do remember to click Enhance Speech. There we go. Okay. And let's crop this to a circle. Let's click on it. Can't even see myself yet. It's loading up at the moment. I'm going to go to crop. Choose a circle. There we go. Now then. There's my grey square. There I am. All right. Okay, cool. So you can see that that circle fits really nicely up there on the top. Okay. Right, let's just play that scene. Check that the end is all there.
King Angus II saw the cross in the sky before a big battle against the Angles and thought it was going to bring him some luck.
Great. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Now then, I'll tell you what, we got a minute, so I'm going to do just one more of these. I'm just going to do one more of these. So I'm going to delete one of these scenes, okay? Now you can add in as many, you can put more facts in if you want, but I'm going to just delete that. Right, so let's do the last one. Okay, Now, the whole point, the colours on the Scottish flag, of course, represent the blue represents the sky that day when the battle was taking place, and then the white cross that Angus saw. Okay, so let's just record my video for that. So I've got videos, record yourself, and let's go. Here we go, start recording. So the colours on the Scottish flag represent the white cross that Angus saw and the blue sky that day. And the blue colour has changed a lot over the years, but now we have an official Scottish blue to use every time. There we go. Okay, save that in. And you can see it's extended my scene to match it. Everything's looking great. Again, remember to enhance your speech. And I'm going to go and do my crop. Click on crop. Choose a circle over here. There we go. And you can see how easy this is. Because we recycled our original graphic, how easy this has been to turn it into a video. Okay, so there we go. I've got my title slide. I've got 3 facts. Now maybe you've done 4. Maybe you could just do 2. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you got. You could just do 1. It's absolutely fine. So I've got it all ready to go. Now the final piece of the puzzle is to make it look as professional as possible. So to do that, we're going to do 2 things. The last sprinkling of magic on the end of any video project is transitions and background music. So let's click on the plus icon between any 2 of your scenes. Doesn't matter which one, any of these little plus icons. And we're going to choose add transition. Now, I think a wipe is going to work nicely here because we've kept the same background every time. So I'm going to go with a wipe, and it should keep, yeah, it's going to keep the background the same every time. Maybe I'll click on it again, and maybe we're going to wipe, maybe wipe up. Yeah, I think that works well on a kind of phone. Looks as if it's scrolling up. Okay, so now once you've done that, you can then apply that transition to every scene in your video. So that's why I said it doesn't matter which one of these little pluses you click on. Because once you've chosen your transition, click on this little button and it's going to copy that. You can see it's on every single transition. So let's have a quick look at that, a few scenes with that.
St.
Let's zoom in a bit on this.
Andrew's saltire in the sky. St. Andrew never visited Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345. King Angus II saw the cross.
Cool. Right. Now then, what a great effect that is. Now, let's finish it off with some cool background music and we will be done because we are 2 minutes over, friends. So let's go to media, audio on the top. And you'll see here, if you scroll down, that you've got loads and loads and loads and loads of different music. So if we search in here for something like folk, well then, what are we going to get? Let's try some out. Not bad. Don't know what that is. Not that. Let's go for this. Yeah, why not? Like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to choose that. It's not quite long enough for my video, so if it's not long enough, you can duplicate it. Okay, and let's bring the volume down on that. Okay, right under my voice, and on this duplication as well. Bring the volume down, fade it out at the end, and I am done. Let's have a look at my finished video.
St. Andrew's saltire in the sky. St. Andrew never visited Scotland, but a monk brought some of his bones over in the year 345. King Angus II saw the cross in the sky before a big battle.
Cool, there we go. Right now, guys, we're 3 minutes over. I'm really sorry about that. Now then, to get your projects out of Express, the video project, you can, of course, download it as an MP4 file. If you can do that, I would change the resolution to 720. That's absolutely plenty. But a kind of easier way of sharing your video files is not to download them. It's to actually just publish it to the internet straight away from Express by clicking on share and generating a view-only link. Anybody that clicks on that link can then watch your amazing video. If you want to go back to your infographic and print it out, then you just need to click on the Pages button, and you can see there, page 1 is my infographic where I can download it as a PDF if I'm going to print, but you could also share it with a view-only link too. Right, well, Mr. Coots, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. It's been a lot of fun having you on, and thanks for showing us how it works on the iPad. Oh, we can't hear you. Hang on, you're on mute. Hang on. There you go.
I was talking away. Thanks everyone for having me. It's been great fun seeing how on an iPad or on a browser you're getting a very, very similar experience. And it's great that you get to record yourself and add in that little bit of personalization. Well done. Love it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks so much for joining me. And if you've enjoyed this lesson and you'd like to join us for some more, then please go to adobe.ly/live lessons. It's been up there on the top through the whole lesson as well. Now, we've got our Christmas specials. That's what we've got left this term. Okay, we've got 3 different Christmas-themed lessons. And remember that you don't have to come along live. You can register for the live lesson and then just use the recording with the same links that you receive for the live lesson. Use those links to watch the recording anytime after the lesson's actually been. So if you've got, you could register for all 3 and kind of have them ready in your back pocket for when you want to use them before the end of term. But also, before we break for the Christmas holidays, we will be releasing all of the live lessons for next term as well. They're already, actually, if you want a sneak preview, they're already on the YouTube channel sitting there. So if you want to go and have a quick preview of what's coming up, they're all there. But they'll be available to book on the form using this link underneath me here in the next week or 2. But for now, I am absolutely bust now. I've gone an entire 6 minutes over and I'm going to get told off. So it's goodbye. Thanks very much, Martin. See you on the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Thank you all. Have a fun afternoon. See you later.